Hi, this is Yogesh Chabria, and sometimes people ask me, can happiness be a goal? But the question itself is a wrong question. The question itself is a paradox uh, because happiness and it being a goal don't go hand in hand. And unfortunately, many people have been misguided. In fact, the American Constitution speaks about the pursuit of happiness. But the pursuit of happiness doesn't mean happiness, because happiness is not really a pursuit. I'm reminded of a story. Once there was a man, and that man somehow got this idea in his head. Sometimes you get ideas in your head, and these ideas stick with you. And this man got the idea in his head that he wants to be the most humble man in the world. He wants to be the most humble person in the world. And he would keep doing more and more and more and more things to show how humble he was. He would bow down to people, but once he was bowing down, he saw somebody else who was lying flat on the ground. He said, that person is more humble. So from that day on, he started lying flat on the ground. Whenever he met somebody, he would bow down. He did so many things to show he was humble. But if you think of it, it is a paradox, because you can never be the most humble person in the world, because the moment you start competing, you lose your true humility. If I say I want to be the most humble person in the world, it's not coming from within. I'm taking part in an act, I'm taking part in a competition, so it is not true. So humility is something that comes from within. And sometimes you don't need to show your humility. Humility is when you realize that your ego is not something or somebody that should control you. When you transcend your ego, humility comes from within. When you realize that whatever is happening is transient, when you realize that this journey you are on is transient, you become humble. When you realize that you don't know everything, humility comes from within. It doesn't have to be an act. It doesn't have to be a show. So when you say most humble and truly humble, they don't go hand in hand. And it's the same with happiness. When you start looking at happiness as a goal, it is not in harmony, or it is not in essence with the nature of happiness. You can have goals. You can say, my goal is to become a doctor, heal people, become an engineer, become an architect, design beautiful buildings, become an author, become a movie maker, become a hotelier, become an entrepreneur, become a technologist. Those are goals. You can have goals. Goals are great. But happiness is something very different from goals. Happiness is truly your inner state, is truly your natural state. It is like saying, my goal is to be able to love, right? But if you make your goal to be able to love, it is something in the future, right? It is something in the distant future. And you look at a goal as a momentary thing. You achieve your goal now, you have something next. But your ability to love is your natural state. You can love right now. You don't need to go in the future. You don't need to go anywhere. It's the same with happiness. Right now, right here, you can decide to experience joy. You can decide to experience happiness. Of course, there are many techniques you could practice. There's gratitude, which I shared with you last time. There's meditation. There's so many things. There is the ability to become more giving, more caring, more sharing. But happiness can never be a goal, because when you look at something as a goal, it is something in the future. You can attain it right now in this moment, because it is already a part of you. Take care. Have a beautiful evening or a beautiful day, and I shall see you soon.